What's up, everyone? So I heard something was happening in San Francisco tomorrow. What is that? Anybody in here ready to take to the streets tomorrow? All right, rising. Well, hello, welcome everyone. My name is Patrick Reinsborough. I have the honor of being your MC this evening. I'm on the national staff of 350.org, and I'm so grateful for all the amazing work that's been done by 350 Bay Area to host this incredible gathering event. Thank you. So, you know, at 350, when we look at the climate crisis, we think that there's one real core answer that we know and believe in and is our role, and that's people power. People power is what brings together the force that's big enough to stand up to the fossil fuel industry, to stand up and drive the changes that we need to make. So that's why tonight what we're going to be doing is leaning into that. We've got a program together over the next hour or so. We're very fortunate to have both May Boeve and BIll McKibben here to share a few thoughts with you this evening. But then what's the really important conversations here are the conversations that are about organizing, right? Organizing can sometimes seem so abstract, but it's really simple. Organizing is just about talking to people you don't know about something that matters. Raise your hand for me if you're willing to talk to people you don't know about something that matters. That's organizing. It's that easy. So we will tonight, we know this is an incredible room of folks. We've got some songs to sing together because when we're in the streets tomorrow, the march will also be about our joy and the sound of our voices and singing that. But also we want to create conditions for folks to talk to one another tonight. So we'll just spend a little time giving folks a chance to get together, meet someone you didn't meet, maybe share some of your work. So before we do that, we just want to hear who's in the room. So first of all, our host, 350 Bay Area, raise your hand. All right, woo! So that is amazing. For folks that don't know, they have been doing incredible organizing that we're going to see shine in the streets tomorrow, in addition to hosting us here tonight. Where else we got? Do we have any other 350 groups in the room?
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara, right here. All right. Who else we got? Yeah.
Inyo County.
We have Ventura over here. What do we have?
Inyo County.
Inyo County. We got Mono County. We got Berkeley. Right about right here.
California.
All right. Statewide. Yeah. Yes, in the back. Red. Other folks? Sonoma. Excellent.
Silicon Valley just walked in.
Silicon Valley, 350. Nice. All right. Anyone else? Don't be shy. We know there's 350 folks doing amazing organizing all over the state. Well, and in fact, that's what's... oh, where? Riverside. All right. You know, what is amazing as we kick off this week of action with the mobilization and the march tomorrow, we're part of something so sweeping and profound. You know, I don't know if folks have seen, if folks have been checking out the broader Global Day of Action website, riseforclimate.org. As of now, we are in Rise. We are rising. It is carrying live updates from around the world. Folks in Australia, folks in Nepal, folks in Kyrgyzstan. In fact, there are, at this point, scheduled to be over 850 actions happening in 90 countries. So that's amazing. So, as we face a global crisis, we have a global movement. And here in the United States, happening over this weekend, things kicked off already in New York yesterday. Folks may have seen, New York was the first community to begin their RISE mobilizations, demanding a fossil-free future in New York. And we will have 300 actions happening in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Guam over this weekend. So that's amazing. So That's part of the power of what a grassroots movement looks like. A movement that's bringing together climate and economic and racial justice. A movement that's mobilizing in lots of different places, but demanding a same common shared ideas around making a just transition to a fossil-free future. So one of the folks that has helped make that happen and helped kick this off, one of 350.org's very own founders, a amazing leader and activist who I've had the pleasure of watching for a number of years, and for the last period of time have the true honor of calling her my coworker, is 350's global executive director, May Boeve.
It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much, Patrick, who is a movement thought leader in his own right. I don't know if everyone has read Patrick's book, but highly recommend it. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight, and what a good idea from 350 Bay Area to bring us all together before we march. I'm so happy that you did this, and all the people who've been pouring so much time into making this happen, to just have a chance to let our hair down with each other and get excited about tomorrow is really important. So thank you for the idea, thank you for bringing us together. Mass mobilizations, like what we're doing tomorrow, is the heart and soul of what we do at 350. And when I was part of the campus climate movement, this is the kind of thing we felt we didn't have, is we couldn't actually see one another. We knew that there were actions happening, we knew there were policy proposals, but we didn't feel like a movement, we weren't acting together as one. So moments like this help us do that, and that's why we continue to do them. I'm sure there's people in this room who were part of the first Global Day of Action we organized in 2009. Can I see a show of hands? Yeah, so you know, we've been at this for a while, and I'm especially grateful for the people who continue to put in the time. And in a second, I'm going to get to introduce the person who, for me, most embodies that spirit of persistence in this movement. But I'll get to that in a second. I want to say one more thing about why we do this, which is that we have to make our own political space. Right now, there has not been a conversation about climate change and its urgency that you can register at the national or international level. And so we have to get in the streets and we have to make it known. The other reason it's important, what's happening in Washington and in many places around the world has lowered the bar on climate action to, I couldn't even tell you where. It's like negative space. And so when we take power again, we have to be very clear about what our demands are, because the level of ambition, right now you basically just have to mention climate change and you're a contrast to Donald Trump. But what we know is so much more is required. And there's so little ambition, even from leaders who get a lot of credit. And so that's another reason why we're mobilizing and why our demands for fossil-free, to get off of fossil fuels to 100% renewable energy through a just transition, we have to be clear, we have to repeat them over and over again. And that's going to make it easier for us in a few years when we're back in power. And we also are not waiting. All of you in the places where we listed earlier, and your colleagues around the world, part of the reason these are our demands is you can enact them at the city level. You can enact them at the state level. But we all know in this room we need them at the national level too. So just a reminder, that's why we do this. Before you leave tonight, I really hope you'll take a look at these posters up here. These are some pictures of some of the people who are your compatriots around the world, who are, because of the time zone, not exactly at this moment, but will be having a similar gathering themselves to prepare for Rise. And I know a lot of people are part of 350 because it's global and because we're connected, and these are just some real people who I want you to know about their stories, from Indonesia, Vanuatu, Portugal, Senegal, Thailand, and Peru. But again, 6 of 95 countries who are mobilizing. So with that, I'm going to make an announcement, which is that we're here at a very cool event. Who all has been to this event before at the Oakland Museum? It's really worth checking out once you leave. But we have a lot of flyers that are not going to hand themselves out. And there's probably a lot of people at this event who would love to know about RISE. And on the eve of the People's Climate March in New York, Leslie Kagan, one of the lead organizers, said, I don't want anyone to wake up on Sunday and learn that there was a climate march and they missed it because they hadn't heard about it. So we are still in that window where people need to hear about this. So please take some flyers, pass them out at the event on your way out. That's my last announcement. It's now my great pleasure to introduce BIll McKibben, who many of you have been saying hello to tonight, who just got in today. And Bill is, for me, the model of persistence in this movement, who puts in more time and more heart through day in and day out to make this work continue. And whenever I feel discouraged and feel like, I don't know if I could do this, I think about Bill, and I think about what you do every day. And I can never be grateful enough for that. And Bill is the reason why myself and Jamie Henn, he's back there, another co-founder of 350, are still doing this today. So, Bill, I'm very excited to hear what you have to say to everybody here.
Well, what fun for me to get to be. First thing I would say is, I'm not sure it's a good idea for me to be here because I came to Oakland down the street maybe 6 months ago when we were doing some of the early getting people excited about RISE, and we had a big thing at the Masonic Hall. And we were all getting ready to speak, and then there was an earthquake. And all the Californians in the audience were pretending that they didn't bother them at all. I was completely freaked out. I should say, it's really fun to be here with May. May is native Californian from Sonoma and has been steadily working her way back here ever since I knew her in Vermont. Oddly enough, I'm a native Californian too. I lived here till I was 5, and then went east, and that's when I became depressed and unbalanced and whatever. So it's always sort of fun to come back and see what would have happened had I stayed in such a sound and beautiful place. It's great fun also to have Jamie Henn, where's Jamie? In the back of the room. Jamie and May were Jamie and May and I and 3 other undergraduates founded 350.org 10 years ago this year. It seems like it's been much longer than 10 years, I must say. But here's another little secret. Before the month is out, both Jamie and May are getting married, not to each other. That's another story. But I must say it makes me feel extraordinarily happy to get to watch that happen. And in a bigger sense, the thing that's always made me happiest is this sense of sort of global family that's grown up around 350 and the kind of broader climate movement. Look, we're not winning at this point, that's clear. I'm just on the way back from Greenland. I've been in Greenland the last couple of weeks, and what do you know, it really is melting and really is melting really fast. And it's sobering and powerful to kind of see close up the planet disintegrating. But if we're not winning, we're sure as hell fighting. And the fight is getting bigger and stronger all the time. So tomorrow is going to be great. We're going to be out in the street, and in the process, we're going to be doing lots of important things. We've changed, all of us together, the kind of dialogue, the idea about where we are and where we need to go. So now we're at the point where California is close to approving this plan for 100% renewable energy. That's a big deal. And all of you have worked really hard on this, and I was really glad to see my old friend R.L. Miller here today, who's worked really hard in Sacramento on all this. And so many people have done so much. This push to get Jerry Brown to stop granting permits for new oil wells is really important because it represents the next phase of, it's very clear what we have to do around energy demand and around renewable energy. And now we're into the harder part where we also have to shut down the bad stuff that we're doing. So these are really important, and as May pointed out, we need to be making those the baseline demands that everybody understands that the climate movement requires, so that when the next presidential election comes around, we have every Democratic candidate for president signing on the bottom line. And boy, there's movement in all the right directions. Jeff Merkley, the senator from Oregon, announced today, filed a bill today that would divest the federal pension system from fossil fuel. We're not going to get it, obviously, overnight, but it is a marker. It's a marker laid down now for where we're headed. And so here's the good news, the thing that you really need to understand and feel, okay, which is that there are so many people like us in now every corner of the world. I've spent much of the year in Asia, off with various 350 cohorts of all kinds. Before I was in Greenland, I was in Europe, in Denmark, and in Berlin. I'm off in a few weeks right after the election to Brazil and Argentina, where your colleagues have done amazing work stopping fracking across vast parts of South America. Everywhere people are looking at each other and understanding that they're part of this thing. Tomorrow will be a beautiful way to see that. Those pictures will be flowing in, and it'll be beautiful I always just love sitting there and kind of retweeting them out around the world so everybody can sense that they're part of this big thing that really matters. And so it's just you guys know how much good work you've done here in the Bay Area and across California. And you know that you're at the forefront of so much that's going on, and that people all over the world are inspired by what you're doing. So just take a little while to be inspired by all of them too. To just feel, look, we don't know if we're going to win this fight or not. It's always been the precondition. Unlike other fights, it has to happen fast, and we don't know if we're going to win. But the planet is running the worst fever it's ever run, and y'all are the antibodies that are kicking in to see if we can't take care of that. Doesn't always work, Not everybody who ever gets sick, not everybody recovers, but I'm willing to feel optimistic and hopeful and committed because so many people are. And so many of them in places that did nothing to cause the problem that we're facing. Didn't contribute to it the way that we all have over the course of our lives, and yet they're willing to be in kind of communion with us working on it, which is a beautiful and kind of wondrous thing. So tomorrow should be really, really fun. And it should, be your kind of reward for all the less fun hours of having meetings, and doing things on Facebook, and making phone calls to recalcitrant legislators, and all the other million pieces of work that go into building a movement. I'll just end by saying that when Jamie and May and I started 350, we had no idea what we were doing. And we had no way of knowing that people would respond in this kind of, we would hope people would come to rallies, but we had no idea that people would be setting up chapters of 350 and just taking on the work and doing it just as hard as we were doing it, you know, all over the world, just kind of taking this thing and making it their own. And that's been incredibly fun to watch and incredibly encouraging to watch. There's something powerful that's being born this time now on this planet. We'll see if it's enough to meet the challenge of the moment, but God, it's good that at least there's a fight underway. And just thank you all so much for doing it. And we've got good weather tomorrow, and surely I've used up the earthquake quota for the year, you know, and so on we go, and just thank you all, just so much. Patrick.
Thank you, Bill. Words to keep us moving. As Bill says, part of what keeps this whole struggle happening is our sense of joy in the face of it. So we're actually going to have a song now that is coming up. And we've got a chance together a little bit later. We'll learn some of the songs that... How many people have heard some of the songs that we're going to sing in the streets tomorrow? Raise your hand. You and thousands of others. So we have an incredible opportunity, but we are going to be practicing that song again a little bit later this evening. But for now, I'm turning it over to Vanessa and Brian, and I'll let them introduce this song.
Does anyone have a capo? No? All right.
Check.
I'm going to sing this in a lower key then. Sorry. I just want to thank Bill and May for coming tonight. And I want to tell just the tiniest story, which is my name is Vanessa. I am blessed to be working with 350.org on Rise. And I sent a note to them on our internal Slack channel saying, would you be willing to come and speak to 350 group leaders from all over California? And within about 20 minutes, this notification flew across my desktop from May Boeve. That's not something I think we can, ... And I went, oh no. And I immediately opened it, thinking, God, really? And it said, that's not something I think we could ever not attend. Of course we will both be there. Anyway, so I just want to thank you both for coming tonight. I want to thank all of you. And this is a song that I wrote a couple of years ago, and unfortunately it's still completely relevant. And I think you all know the tune, you will recognize it, and I hope you will all sing along as soon as you learn the chorus, which will become pretty obvious as we go. A long, long time ago, something magic happened when James Watt built a steam machine. And with it brought us fossil fuels to rev up all our power tools and build a brand new world. It was a dream. But like all dreams, it couldn't last. The air pollution grew too fast, and now the climate's changing. It's time for rearranging, 'cause physics doesn't care at all. The ice keeps melting while we stall. 7 billion on one blue ball. We all will need to rise. ridiculous lie. Says we've gotta keep on drilling till the wellheads run dry. 'Cause if we do, we know the planet would fry. And that would be a dumb way to die. That would be a dumb way to die. Well, the reasons, yeah, I must have missed them for ripping out our life support systems, 'cause that's not how it needs to be. We've got geothermal and lots of solar to keep us cozy in the next big polar vortex burrow. And don't forget the wind, 'cause we've seen how strong that wind can blow. And storage, yeah, there's still a ways to go, but financing is the key. Can we end the oil subsidy? 'Cause with the methane plume over LA, a melting Arctic and a rising bay, I'm worried my kid might not be okay unless we start to rise. So let's start singing bye-bye to that ridiculous lie. Says we gotta keep on drilling till the wellheads run dry. If we do, we know the planet would fry. That would be a dumb way to die. That would be a dumb way to die. From Rio to Paris, they still keep meeting to discuss the Mauna Loa readings. 400 parts and rising fast. Fossil fuels have been a blast. Pretty soon the die will be cast. I'm afraid our generation is the last to take a stand and make things right, to make sure that our future's bright. We know what we need to do. Oh, and I think that you do too. Imagine public transit, high-speed trains, electric cars, and safe bike lanes. We can even fly in solar airplanes, but only if we try. So let's start singing bye-bye to that ridiculous lie. Says we gotta keep on drilling till the wellheads run dry. If we do, we know the planet would fry. That would be a dumb way to die. That would be a dumb way to die. I met a girl who had a dream. She saw a future safe and clean. So I asked her, can you see the way? Take a look around, she said. All those plans inside your head, make them real, make them see the light of day. Go out there and tell your friends it's not too late to change the end. We could all stand up now. Never know our power. So friends, I hope you'll follow me. Be the change you want to see. 'Cause we haven't got a planet B. We've got to stand and fight. Bye-bye to that ridiculous lie. Says we gotta keep on drilling till the wellheads run dry. Sing with me. If we do, we know the planet would fry. That would be a dumb way to die. That would be a dumb way to die. Bye-bye to that ridiculous lie. Says we would be a dumb way to die.
This is how we win, with the power, the creativity, the